Hi everyone, my name is Dennis Pan. I work for SAP Ariba as a QA specialist for the team Supply Risk. The product is to help customers to understand risks in their supply chain and make the right decisions about it. The my overall goal in the future is hopefully I can help create chatbots for Ariba products that allow customers to find out information much faster, such as the risk scores of a particular supplier at any given time, just by speaking to a chatbot on Ariba's products, like supplier risk. This is the reason why I've been looking to explore how to create chatbots using various platforms, such as the Recast.AI. Today, I'm going to talk about how to create a restaurant search chatbot using Recast.AI. So, to start, first of all, you have to have a Recast.AI account. I'm not going to go through how to set up the account, but once you got the account, you can create chatbots. Today, I'm going to create a new chatbot. Uh, in here, I just select various predefined skills for the bot to make sure your chatbot, in this case, will work out well. So this time, I just name my chatbot food for you, and we just call it demo. Uh, Distinguished from the previous food for you chatbot I created. Description is optional. You want to make sure that it's public. And so let's begin. So you create a bot. All right, so by default, after you create a bot, it goes to the training page of Recast.AI for your bot. This might take a while because it is creating a chatbot. It might take a little bit longer. Uh, Here we go. So there are certain skills we want to keep, but certain skills we don't want to keep. So I only want to keep things like uh, say thanks, goodbye, greetings, no, and yes. So let me begin to delete it. Delete them. So the view mode, you want to become edit mode. So we don't want edit alarm. We don't want modify alarm. And I just keep deleting ones I don't really need. So all these intents are mostly not very useful because only thing we want to do is to search for restaurants. So therefore, we don't really want to things like ask creator, get news, all that stuff, because skills, those skills and intents are absolutely irrelevant. Okay, isn't happy, is not very relevant. All right, here we go. So we end the edit mode, so now it's view mode, so you cannot delete anything. So now we want something to jumpstart our chatbot. So I create a new intent called restaurant start. Here we go. And now I want to use certain keywords to jumpstart the restaurant bot. So I need to add an expression. So for example, I'm hungry. So the more expressions you put in, the more you're training the chatbot. So put as many as you can, uh, or otherwise the chatbot will keep you giving you bad results. For example, I'm dying for food. If you're hungry and desperate, you just want somebody to help you, and basically you're just calling up the chatbot and as if you're calling a genie to give you something magical to solve your problem right now. I really want food. I am in need of food. I'm very hungry. I need something to eat. I am in need of good food. So you can type in as many expressions as possible in order to jumpstart the whole process. But we'll stop at there, and in the future, if you want, then you can add more expressions. All right, so let's go back to the train uh, page to create more new intents. And I want to create another intent. I call this restaurant search. Let me see if I spell it right. Okay, I'm a bad speller. Restaurant, search. Okay. And these are the keywords that you will be using to uh, get the chatbot to search for a restaurant that you want. Maybe Chinese restaurant, Korean restaurant, Japanese restaurants, you name it. Okay, restaurant. So I include capital case and lowercase just to take into account that some people, they don't capitalize the first letter of the words they're typing in. So that's pretty normal. Here we go. And let's create another intent. I call this restaurant type. So maybe you want a vegan restaurant, and you happen to want to specify it when you chat with this chatbot. In terms of restaurant type, things is going to be rather interesting because when you have food styles such as Chinese or Japanese or Korean, it often interpreted as nationality instead of cuisine. So this time we're going to show you how this is accomplished so that it will identify all these words like Indonesia, Arab, or Polish or Russian as not nationality but as cuisine. So for the chatbot to know what kind of restaurant you want to eat. So for example, I just say Polish, Russian, Chinese food, Japanese, Korean food, Italian restaurants. So, as you can see, it's been labeled as nationalities. So, we label this, and I just say cuisine. There we go. Cuisine. Let me see if this is the right spelling for cuisine. Good. All right. Now I'm just checking on the dictionary next to me. And then I just say cuisine for Russian. Chinese, oops, not like this. All right. Japanese become cuisine. So the context in this app is different in the bigger world. So in this chatbot, basically, it will see all the different type of food as not as nationality but as uh, cuisine under because that's the right context for uh, this restaurant search chatbot. So you can have something like African food, Indian, uh, Indonesian. So you want to include as many type of cuisine as possible, just to make sure you got everything covered. So I am looking for Vietnamese food. I am looking for Chinese restaurants. I want Indian restaurants uh, and Vietnamese. All right. So there are times it does not identify the nationality as cuisine, so we just have to train it to make sure it recognizes everything as cuisine. All right. So let's put a couple more. Maybe I want Arab food, uh, Taiwanese, Filipino. Okay, so it should be Filipino. So let me delete this. Oops. Okay, just call it Filipino. Okay, I have to check it to as cuisine. Want to eat Filipino food. Want to eat Russian food. Or Taiwanese restaurants. Okay, let's stop here. All right, so let's create another one, another intent. So this one I call this restaurant city. So basically, they're like the location you want to search for the restaurant. So maybe, for example, London, New York, Hong Kong, Paris, uh, Seattle, San Jose. And do notice that they've been tagged as location, so we're all good. But of course, the user might type various different statements when they search for restaurants. So maybe we just have to add a little complexity. I want to eat food at San Jose, or I want food in Seattle. I am looking for Seattle restaurants. Rest. Or you can say San Francisco. So you just want to check if all this expression you have has been tagged as location. This is good. Let's add a little more, say Tokyo, Berlin, let's see, Rome, Seoul in Korea, and let's see what other cities. Maybe Boston. I want Boston food. I am looking for New York restaurants. Okay, location, 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 location. Okay, this is good for now. All right. So now we want to build the chatbot because just with the intent, this is basically still useless. So let's go to Build tab. Okay, so we have a bunch of junk. Uh, so we need to get rid of many of that, and we have even the fallback uh, intent if something goes wrong. Uh, you know, you can go back uh, to fallback statement. You'll tell you, sorry, we don't understand what you want. So for the fallback, let's give it something meaningful. Uh, so let's click on actions. And, maybe you can say something like, instead of say, I trigger fallback skill. That's not what usually customer wants. So let me write something like this. Here we go. So whenever the statement you type in failed to get a response, it will tell you this. Just tell you either say a different command or you say restaurants start a new search and say thank you with some gratitude. All right. And now we need to add a little bit different skills. Let's have something like grade skill. Maybe let's have something like restaurant start. Grade skill. And let's create another one. Let's call it restaurant search. Uh, that's restaurant search. And the third one, I would say restaurant type. This is the skill in which if somebody type I want Chinese food, it will receive that and then generate the right kind of responses. And restaurant city. So when you type in the city, like London, San Jose, San Francisco, it will have a response. It will allow you to search for the restaurant. All right, it's all done. Now we really need to enable these skills. Does not know anything about the intent you have built, so you have to trigger it. So the trigger statement is if you have restaurant start is present. So if it's present, this skill will be triggered. Uh, there's no need for requirements right now. Let's say action. All right, so uh, what kind of action do you want? So you can add a new message group. Maybe say you send a message. Maybe I want a card. And so I already have written pre-loaded the image on another app, so I just use it to save time. So this is the URL of the image that you want to load for your chatbot for a card. So it can be something HTTPS dot something dot JPG or anything else. So long as it's JPG or PNG, so that it will load the image into the card. And then you just have to write a message like for example, uh, welcome to Food for You, Ultimate Restaurant Recommender Chatbot. Actually, I should say restaurant search chatbot because it's not really doing recommendation because we're not using machine learning. Just say save. Here we go. You can test your chatbot anytime. For example, I'm hungry. Let me hope that works. And you give it a card, which is good. I need food. All right. I really need food. All right. And if you don't need it, just clear it. All right. Let's move on to the uh, next skill. Let's do it the restaurant search skill. This is the restaurant search skill. All right. The trigger is restaurant search. So basically, it's statement like restaurants or restaurant. Uh, so to kind of hinting the chatbot that it's time to search for a restaurant. Uh, the requirement, nothing. The action, it's going to be very simple. Uh, it will ask you what type of restaurant. Uh, So I have text, save. All right, and let us test this. So I'm hungry. Okay, I just say restaurant. What type of restaurant? For example, Chinese food, Korean food, Italian food, etc. So we are not finished yet, so I'm not going to test it further. We'll just see if it's working or not. All right, let's implement restaurant type uh, skill. So, if restaurant type present, which is like, Chinese food, Korean food, vegan food, etc. Uh, so the restaurant type is present. Uh, what is the requirements? Well, the requirements is we need cuisine. Basically, the statement you have to type, the input has to contain the entity, uh, cuisine uh, as cuisine. Here we go. So we need to do this so that we can access cuisine in the memory. So to capture what kind of food type you have been saying to the chatbot. All right, here we go. Now let's go to the action. Add new message group. And so we need to add condition to trigger messages. So if at restaurant type is present, and you have to add another condition, uh, if cuisine is present. So not only the restaurant type is present, but cuisine is present. So you have the restaurant type and everything else present so that you can trigger further actions that you need. Now let's send a message. So you want, it will basically reaffirm what you have said. So basically you say, for example, you say Chinese food. So the statement will say, so you want Chinese food restaurants at which city? So the memory.cuisine.raw basically access the memory. Basically what being typed by the user will be stored in here, and then that's how you access it. If you say previously type Korean food, then you will say Korean. If you say Russian food, you will say Russian. Simple as that. Basically, it's like a variable. Let's save it. Okay, let's just do a simple test. I'm hungry. And restaurant. Oops. Sometimes I misspell things. Okay, what type of restaurant? Maybe say Korean food. Okay, so it is doing its job. Let's clear this. Let's do, uh, let's implement restaurant city skill. So in this skill, uh, basically, if the user specify what city uh, they want for restaurants, uh, this is basically input to the skill. Okay, that's the trigger. What's the requirement? Requirement is the location as location. Voila. And then you have to go to action. So you need to add condition. And that is if restaurant city is present. Uh, and if uh, location is present. So I need to send a message. This time I want to do a text saying we'll search for a particular restaurant you want uh, for a specific location. Please wait. And I want to create another one. Let's say card. We have to add a button, a link. So I already choose the type of image I want. So I just type in here. You can put in any image you want, as long as it's relevant to your chatbot. And now I want to copy the title. So basically, if you, the user say, I want Chinese food restaurants in Boston, basically, this first part will be Chinese. And the last part, the memory.location.raw will be Boston. Simple as that. And then just some explanation in the bottom. Oops, I put it in the wrong place. Anyway, so the web URL is extremely interesting, as I show you why. So, in typical Yelp search, you want the restaurants plus the type of restaurant and the location. So that's the standard structure of a Yelp search. So let's say instead of cuisine.raw, maybe I say Vietnamese, and the location can be, well, uh, maybe Seattle. So basically, this is searching for Vietnamese restaurants in Seattle. Uh, so you know, so you get the picture of how this works. Uh, so basically, when the users say, "I want Chinese food," and then later followed by saying Boston for location, then basically restaurants plus Chinese food and find underscore log equals to Boston. Simple as that. All right, and now the button, I would say results. Basically, you have to click on it to get Yelp to search what you want. And the web URL is this. Save. There we go. Let's do some testing. So say I'm hungry. Say restaurants. Oops, restaurant. Which type of restaurant? Maybe you just say I want Russian food. So we want Russian food restaurant. At what city? Maybe just say New York, where I just say I want restaurant in New York, because there's a lot of Russian Jews in New York, so I assume there will be a lot of Russian food restaurants in New York. And we click on results. See, best restaurants Russian in New York. There's 300 of them, so quite a lot, which is pretty good. All right, so basically, we have trained all the skills needed for all the intents so that you can have these skills to be triggered and do what you want. So let's run through this again. I eat food. Say restaurant to get started. So I just say restaurant. All right. What kind of restaurants? Say maybe Taiwanese food. So you want Chinese food restaurant at what city? Let's just say, uh, you know, San Jose. Okay, so we search for Chinese restaurant in San Jose. Here we go. So successful. So if you really need to start a new search, um, there is one thing you need to know. Uh, Recast.AI will retain many of the input put by the users. So if you try to search for example, uh, restaurant, I just say, what kind of food? I say, I want Chinese food. But it will just say, you want Taiwanese food restaurant, what city? And maybe say, I want to say Seattle. And as you know, basically it's not searching for Chinese restaurants in Seattle. It's searching for Taiwanese restaurants in San Jose because many of the previous memory is not being wiped out. So in the restaurant city scale, which is the last scale, I want to, uh, you know, uh, update conversation. I want to add a memory. I just say reset all memory. And let's start over again and you'll see what I mean. So I'm hungry. And I just say restaurant. What type of restaurants? For example, Chinese food, Korean food, Italian food. So I just say uh, Korean food. At what city? Let's say San Jose. I just say I want restaurants in San Jose. Okay, so we'll search for Korean restaurant in San Jose. Please wait. And you click on it. Indeed, it will say Korean restaurants in San Jose. There we go. And if you want to start a new search, say restaurants. What type of restaurant? I just say maybe Japanese food. So you want Japanese food restaurant at what city? I just say Seattle, and you will search for Japanese restaurant Seattle. So everything we did previously, the memory got erased. So therefore, it will indeed search for Japanese restaurants in Seattle. Awesome. So there's about 638 restaurants in Seattle that are Japanese. Uh, so basically we are done. Uh, and anytime you need to edit your chatbot, you go to Food for You demo. Uh, so there are something we need to talk about later on is to connect into Slack or other chatbot platform. But I don't want to overload you today. So this is the part 1 of the video. Later I will show you talk about the part 2, which is Slack integration. Of course, you can do integration such as Line integrated messenger integration, Telegram SAP Copilot integration. But at the present time, let us just do Slack. But we'll talk about how to integrate this chatbot to Slack at the second part of the video. And take time to marvel what you have built and be proud of it. So I guess I'll see you in the next part of the video. Thank you very much, and I will talk to you guys later about how to integrate your chatbot into Slack. All right, have a good day. Bye.